Hey there, folks. How you doing? It's Professor G here. Nice to meet you. Um, Today, I just want to take a couple minutes and introduce the website and get you rolling on some labs. I'm going to be bouncing back and forth between my online earth science class and my online geology class because you guys pretty much have the same rules. And you definitely start off with the same homework. From there, things go in different directions, but at the beginning here, it's all the same. So hopefully by now you saw this greeting from me. I sent it out last night. Looks like about 9:38, and that was a post on announcements on Blackboard's site. All right. This is my primary means of communication with you. And I've got it set up where whenever I post something here, it sends it to your campus email. And it should go without saying, but this day and age, you've got to check your campus email. All your teachers are going to be using it. All right. We're not using your Gmail accounts and this, that, and the other thing. Everything goes to your MVmail. It's really simple to get it onto your laptop or your phone. All right. And your phone in particular, I suggest trying to get it on there. If you don't know how to do it, I shouldn't say it's very simple. It's pretty straightforward if you know how to do it. And if you don't know how to do it, just stop over at IT, or you could even email them, and they will get you the steps that you need. It is definitely worth the effort to get your email on your phone. Okay, so anyhow, I sent you a little greeting, let you know that things will be getting rolling around noon today. It's actually 10:30, so I'm a little ahead of schedule for the moment. It won't last long, I'm sure. And the biggest thing here is that I'm encouraging you to not to work ahead, okay? This class may not run like some of your other online classes, in that I don't just open up the entire semester for you on the first day. I feed it to you a little bit at a time. For those that haven't had a whole lot of online experience, they seem to like it. For those that have been online for a while and have had teachers that just open the whole thing up, they tend to get a little grumpy with me, and I apologize for that. But this class runs, for lack of a better word, in real time. All right. Now that being said, you don't have to log on at 9:35 on Tuesday, okay, in order to get the content. No, I will post the content twice a week, for example, with lectures, and you should log on Tuesday and on Thursday and read it or listen to it. But you don't have to do it at a particular time. That's why I said it's more or less in real time. All right. I'll be giving you content a little bit at a time. Twice a week for lecture, once a week for lab. Labs are on Wednesdays. Tuesday and Thursdays I post lectures, I just said. But you could access it anytime you want. If you work all day and you can't get to it till 10:30 at night, that's absolutely fine. You work all night, you can't get to it till 8 o'clock in the morning, again, absolutely fine. I don't care. Just so you get to it. All right. Also, goes without saying, but please try not to get too far behind. When you don't have to check in, so to speak, with me for a class, it's really easy to say, oh, I'll get to that, and you don't get to it. And then before you know it, you've got 6 hours of incredibly boring lecture to listen to. All right. I don't kid myself. I can't imagine having to listen to my recordings here. This, by the way, is a lecture cast. This is what I call them. This is me talking. Now, for actual lecture, it'll be a recording of me talking to an on-campus class, or just me at my dining room table or my office covering the PowerPoint. Okay, that's that day's lesson. Some of them are recycled. Because I either really, really like the way it went, or I just haven't had a chance to re-record it. And some of them are brand spanking new because I did give a lecture that morning and I liked it. I'm going to use it for you guys on that day. Okay. I'm only teaching geology on campus, so those are some of the ones that stand the best chance of getting refreshed. But, you never know. Like I said, if I have a moment or two, I'll spruce up an earth science one or something like that. But for the most part, I've got a nice routine worked out and a nice set of lectures for you guys to work with. So the website here, all right, announcements, we talked about this. This should be where your, when you open up Blackboard and go to your class site, this should be where it opens up. There's supposed to be a picture across the top here. They call it a banner. I don't know where banner went, but we'll find your banner. Next thing you see here is your syllabus. All right. You guys both, whether you're geology or earth science, 101 or 100, will have a downloadable version right here. If you want the PDF, you just click there. All right. But also, just for easy access, you've got it right here. This is last semester's schedule. I will be updating this. I will be putting a fresh one up. For example, these are not my office hours, okay? But you see right here it says fall 22. Not a whole lot of it changes. In fact, I'll probably just change the front page. I hope I'm not making you seasick, zooming back and forth here. I'll probably just change this top page that has the fresh office hours on it and whatnot. All right, so you have access to a syllabus. Schedules, I don't tend to make too often for a handful of reasons. But I will always give you a heads up in announcements when tests are coming. All right. And I will always announce what lab we're working on in announcements as well. A lab schedule, you stand a much better chance of seeing than a lecture schedule. Okay. But regardless, I will always tell you, every Wednesday I'm going to log on, like today, and say, for lab this week. All right. Now, lecture, after a little while, I do tend to stop because you guys should be in the routine of Tuesday and Thursday, and you get a little tired of my announcements, my emails, and you get another one that says, I posted lecture, I posted lecture, I posted lecture. You get tired of that. So at some point, I do stop posting the lecture notes, I stopped telling you that I've posted fresh lecture notes. You should expect it, okay? But I always tell you about the labs. All right, so let's skip over. We've been looking at earth science here. Let's skip over to the geology website just so you guys can see they are fairly similar here. Next thing we would have hit is required materials. This one happens to be, I should have kept them open. For geology, you guys do have different books. So geology, we're looking at Essentials of Geology, okay, by Marshak. I don't know what edition they're on now. They changed so gosh darn quick. And the bookstore insists that we sell the most recent. If they happen to be selling 6 right now, but you could find a copy of 5 used, significantly cheaper, please feel free. Okay, they really don't vary that much in the content. If anything, worst case scenario, the chapter numbers might be a little rearranged. And that's one of the main reasons why I don't use chapter numbers ever. I'm going to say today we're going to talk about volcanoes. I'm not going to say chapter 3 or whatever it happens to be. If you want to find out what chapter volcanoes is in your book, they've got this really cool thing called a table of contents at the beginning. All right. And you go there and you say, oh, volcanoes. Or you got the index in the back of the book. So I'm topics based, not chapters based. You'll see what that means as we go through. For geology, you guys also have a handy dandy lab book. Okay, please, if you have any way possible of getting this from the campus bookstore, please do so. It is so much easier, and you need the lab book kind of right off the bat. Okay, but you can buy it direct from Kendall Hunt. I do not recommend trying to get it from Amazon. All right, they really, unless things have changed, they don't really do that fast shipping for books. Okay. I've seen students waiting a very, very long time, even though they were promised quick ship, waiting a very long time to get the books, especially the rentals. Good Lord. And a world map. We'll talk more about the world map in a moment because some of you might want paper, some of you might want to do this digitally. And again, this is for both classes with the world map. No lab book for earth science. Again, both of you need this. Please get it at the bookstore. Yes, they can mail. For those of you that don't live near campus, all right, place an order for this rock and mineral kit and your lab book should you need it for Geology 101. Please get this kit. I've seen too many people attempt to do the rock and mineral labs without this kit, and it just doesn't work out. And then you end up failing 2 big, huge tests in geology, the mineral practical and the rock practical. Okay? Please get the mineral and the rock kit. For earth science, you guys still need the mineral and the rock kit. You don't have practicals, okay? But you need it for 4 important labs, all right? So please still get this kit, even if you're in earth science. Because it's really hard to do the labs without the specimens in front of you. You guys also need a world map. No lab book for earth science, but there is a lecture book, a textbook. And again, he's past first edition now. I think he's on second edition. But if you could find a first edition significantly cheaper, I have no problem with you using it, earth science folks, okay? All right. So, required materials. Let's actually jump to the labs for a minute because I want to talk about, let's continue going through here. I apologize. Submitting an assignment. This is something that's actually pretty pertinent here. There's an old video that I made, and it's a little bit of a tutorial. I'm going to show you. On an old site because I don't have any assignments up yet. This is Earth Science from last semester. Go to labs, oceanography, right here. So whenever I assign you something like today's labs, okay, you're going to see a red link. And it's going to say, please submit your blah, blah, blah lab here once it's completed. You have to attach everything at once, okay? You click on that word. I don't know if you caught, I did it really quick. You actually click on the word, name of the lab. And right here, most times you guys are going to be sending an attachment, all right? We'll talk a little bit more about that in a minute. Very occasionally will I ask you just to write your text in this little box. 9 times out of 10, you're going to have a worksheet that you're filling out, and you're going to attach it right here. It doesn't let me, I could pick something here, but it won't let me go through the motions because I'm in teacher mode here. But, so you would pick your file, attach it, and again, if you have a comment, you can put it there, but generally you guys don't. Then you hit submit, okay? And that's as simple as it is. Where do people get confused? They get confused when they say, okay, I just printed out a sheet of paper that you gave me a PDF of. How do I turn that in? Well, back in the 90s or the 2000s, and even the 2010s, I suppose, most folks had scanners at home, okay? And you'd feed it through the scanner. It would create a file, and you would just upload that. But on all honesty, these days, you guys just take pictures of it with your phones. I'm totally fine with that as long as it's a good picture, okay? And the problem comes in is then how do you get the picture from your phone to your laptop to attach it? My suggestion is email it to yourself. Sounds silly, sounds like a pain in the butt, but it's probably the most straightforward. If you've got a cloud and you know how to mess around with your cloud, feel free to send it from your phone to the cloud and from your cloud to your laptop, okay? But I'm kind of old school. I'm 50 years old here, so I just email myself stuff when I need it, all right? But regardless, that's what most people do. Some people have the ability to type into the PDFs themselves. They don't print them out. They go entirely paperless. If you know how to do that, you can just resave the file with your answers in it and send me that. You don't have to deal with the printing, the photographing, and the uploading. It's your choice. I don't care which one you do, okay? If you have any questions about that, you're welcome to ask me. You might have better luck asking a friend, because they're going to be like right next to you in person, and they can show you. But otherwise, feel free to email me, or God forbid, stop by my office hours, right? But so anyhow, the links for turning in stuff will always be read, and they should be in the folder, okay, where the assignment is. So, for example, this week, let me get back to spring of 2023. We'll go to geology this time. All right. Course content is down here. All right. So we're talking about lab, so we're going to go to lab. And you see that I've got says item hidden from students. Every so often, if I tell you something is live and you don't see it, email me, because every so often, it's not that I forget to turn it on, but I think I turn it on and it doesn't turn on for whatever reason. So you see this here, hidden from students. Let me go up here and put it in teacher mode here. Boom, see, everything disappeared. So I could come in here and think I clicked on the right box and nothing changes, all right? But you guys still can't see things. Just send me an email. Handful of you are usually pretty good at that. I'll 5 minutes after I send out an announcement, you're like, it's not there, Japo. I'll say, okay, sorry. I don't want to say I do it a lot, but it happens. Sorry, sip of coffee break. All right, so let's say you're doing the math and science review lab, and I'll just make this assessment right here. You'll get to see it. This is an assignment. M and S review. But this time I've blended the ruler lab into it. So I'm going to add that. And as I said, it's always red. Please submit your completed math and science review / ruler lab here once. Okay. Completed ruler lab here. Please be sure to attach all of the pages before you hit submit. And again, if you're just if you are just editing a PowerPoint, okay, you don't have to worry about individual pages. For those of you that take, 3 or 4 pictures of the assignment, what I'm saying is you have to adjust them all. You have to attach them all. This is a 20-pointer because it's 2 assignments. Most of your assignments will be 10 points apiece. Earth science, you guys have a little more variability. You've got some way different labs than we do in geology. Some journaling, a cloud lab, for example, that goes on for a month. That's worth more points, okay? Usually the bigger the lab is, the more points it's worth. But generally speaking, if I give you a worksheet or something like that, it's just like a 10, 15-pointer. And actually, now that I say that, I bumped everything up to, I don't have 10 pointers anymore. I've got 15 pointers. So this is 30 because it's 2 points. And make it available. So there it is. So you'll come to this page. You'll click on here. And bada bing, you'll attach it right there. So this is for the geologies page. So they're working out of a lab book. They're definitely going to have to take pictures. You earth science folk, you don't have a lab book. You will have PDFs. You do have PDFs. Here's the same thing for you. Yours are still separate. Oh, I see. Yeah. So they're separate, but I'm going to make one Let's see. Yeah, we'll turn them in together, just like we did on the other site. Please submit your math and science review ruler lab worksheets here once they're completed. Please be sure to submit all pages before you hit submit. Please be sure to attach all pages before you hit submit. All right, so anyhow, so you're getting an idea of how this is here, and you're also getting an idea how I work things here. I'm not a huge, speaking of assignments, I'm not a huge fan of these, it's got to be in by 11:59, okay? That's silly. It also empowers you guys to not worry about stuff as much, which is one unfortunate side effect, okay? But, so when is this stuff due? This stuff is due by the next time you have lab. When is the next time you have lab? Next Wednesday. You always have lab on Wednesdays. So the stuff is due by the following Wednesday. Do you have to wait until Wednesday or Tuesday night to turn it in? No. All right. Will I take off points if you don't turn it in by next Tuesday or Wednesday? No. Should you get it done by next Wednesday? Yes. Because otherwise you're going to get behind. And like I said, before you know it, you're in a pile that you just can't crawl out of, okay? Please try to stay up with us. Don't let my lack of rules, or I don't want to say lack of structure, but please don't let me, not being a jerk, okay, allow you to get behind, all right? So anyhow, you get 1 week for the labs. Exceptions in earth science, as I said, some of your labs will run for a month. Some I'll say keep it, for a week or so. Generally speaking, best advice I could give you is when I assign it on Wednesday, take an hour or two, get it done, and you don't have to worry about it the rest of the week. Okay? All right. So that's lab. Actually, let's go back and talk, since we're here. Let's go back and talk about the other first lab that you guys have in common, and that is this Natural Disasters Lab. Horrible little name. I used to call it the World Map Lab. But what we do is we have a map, and I have you guys mark natural disasters. So we kind of just started calling it the Natural Disasters Lab. What are we talking about? Earthquakes, volcanoes, asteroid impacts, God forbid, big storms, wildfires, okay, all that kind of stuff. The flooding, okay, that's been going on in California. If the poor state, if it's not burning, it's flooding. But you get the idea, okay? The leeway you guys have is whether or not you want a big old paper map up on your wall, which is kind of what I suggest doing. It's first of all, keeps it fresh in your mind. If you have this piece of paper that you see a couple times a day, it reminds you, oh yeah, I'm supposed to be doing this for class. But I also saw what a waste it was. I used to have you guys mail these to me over at campus, and COVID kind of took care of that. But and I would just get all these maps piling up, and I'd put them into recycling, but it was still just such a waste of paper. So for those of you that have the ability, that have the skill set to do this digitally, you are totally allowed to do that. All right. So there's some maps, there's some links here to digital maps. I don't recommend printing out one of these digital maps. All right. This is actually a horrible one. There's way too much writing on it. I don't even know why that's still up there. Don't use that one. Oops, not where I wanted to go. Sorry. That's a much better one. Okay. So you're going to use this website, or this map, for example, and you're going to, let's say there's a giant earthquake here in Russia, and you'll see what city it's in. You know, you get a map that has more cities listed. You would put an X here, or whatever you choose to use. There's a whole instruction sheet. I skipped over that. But I suggest, color coding stuff. Make your fires red, your earthquakes, whatever, green. Storms, another color. Again, those of you that do this online, I've seen where you guys have found these cool little symbols, a little tornado looking thing for a storm, a little actual flame for a forest fire. You guys think of this as half art project, half current events, half geology. Okay. So yeah, that's another reason they make fun of geologists. We don't do a whole lot of math. But at any rate, so you get the idea here, and this runs the entire semester. Please don't try to turn this into me at the end of the week, or even in 3 weeks. Okay, this runs the entire semester. In that same sense, please do not wait until the end of the semester to do this. As I said, it is meant to be a current events lab, and it's to show you that earth science, that geology is happening all around us. So as I said, there are instructions, okay? And here's a suggestion. Again, you can do whatever you want. A suggestion for color coding here. And there is a follow-up. At the end of the semester, you're going to draw plate boundaries on there. You guys remember plate tectonics, right? So you've got this big world map. What else can we do with it? You're going to draw the plate boundaries. If you do it digitally, you'll just save the file, okay? If you do it on paper, we basically just have you take a handful of pictures. You'll take one big picture of the map itself. You'll take a picture of your key. I ask you to keep track on a piece of paper, okay? The date, the event, and so on and so forth. You take a picture of your key. And then you'll do some close-ups of maybe where you have, some important stuff that happened. So, half a dozen pictures. But, again, that's in May. We're not going to worry about that right now. But do get your map up. Do get started paying attention. Most of this stuff you should just hear in the news. You should just see on your news feed. I know people don't sit down and watch the 6 o'clock news anymore. I get it. All right. As I said, I'm old. I have a Yahoo page as my home page, and I've trained it over the decades to feed me, certain stuff. So I tend to see when events happen. In all honesty, Weather Channel is great for whatever type of event. They tend to announce it happening. All right. So you shouldn't have to go searching for this stuff. If you pay any amount of attention to the world around you, you should just hear about this stuff. So that's the map lab. That starts today, okay, and runs through the entire semester. The other thing that you have due this week for next week, okay, is the math and science and the ruler lab. All right, and I'll put that in an announcement, but I'm just doing it since we're here. All right, I want to wrap this up. This wasn't meant to be a huge, long thing. This video will probably be here under opening remarks, okay? And I'll tell you that in an announcement, so you don't have to go finding it, but that's probably where I'll put it. Twice a week, you're going to come here to lectures, and you're going to see these lecture casts. All right? Labs are there. Assignments, as I started to say earlier, and I fumbled. Most of your assignments will probably be in the lab folder. There's a few things that I talk about in lecture that I don't have anywhere to make links, so they go into this assignments thing. Please, assignments is not all of your assignments. It's unfortunate that it's split up that way, but that's kind of how things are running right now. That's for stuff that can't go anywhere else. Lastly, are video lessons. And people get frustrated with me every semester because basically they don't listen to this video where I tell them this. We are probably not going to watch all of these, okay? Please do not watch any of these until I ask you to. If you're really bored, I don't care what you do. But don't go and do the worksheet and then turn it in and I say, hey, I didn't assign that, and then grumble at me, okay? I'm telling you right now, don't watch or do any of these until I ask you to do it, because we might not do all of them. Capiche? We good? All right. So video lessons, we do watch a handful of videos throughout the semester. Even I'll embed some into lecture. Okay, these are above and beyond that. Kind of like today for lab, we're going to watch the Hoover Dam video or something like that. Okay, but there is YouTube videos in with the lecture content separately. And really, the only other thing is the tests. Okay, you guys will be taking your tests online. We'll talk about that a lot more when we actually get to the point where we're taking a test. But yeah. So that's your class site. Okay. Whether you're in earth science, welcome, or geology, welcome. And as you can see, I'm also teaching environmental science on campus, and a geology lab on campus. And actually, I lied. I'm not going to be lecturing in the mornings because I'm teaching environmental science this semester. So no fresh geology lectures coming. But that's okay. We've got some great stuff to build upon. I've been online well before COVID. Even some of my colleagues who joined on COVID now, or during COVID, are getting pretty good at this stuff. But I have had earth science and geology online for 10 years now. So I don't want to say I'm awesome at it, but I've certainly worked out a lot of bugs, hopefully, in the system. So anyhow, take care. It was nice talking to you guys. And if you have any questions ever, you know how to find me, okay? Bye-bye.